Is Donald Trump secretly the most powerful man in crypto? One day he calls Bitcoin a scam, the next he's suddenly pro-crypto and his supporters are rallying behind it. But is Trump really good for the crypto market? Or is it just another political power play? Could his involvement skyrocket Bitcoin to new highs? Or are we watching the beginning of a dangerous manipulation? If you think crypto should be free from politics, you need to hear this. Today we're exposing the truth behind Trump's influence on the crypto world, and the consequences might shock you. We are witnessing a time when political figures are increasingly talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other digital assets. But what does this mean for investors? A single politician truly influence the market? So I mean the full crypto market? And how does this compare to the traditional stock market, for example? Let's break it down. Donald Trump is one of the most controversial figures of the last decades, not just in politics, but now also in the financial world. During his previous terms as US president, he was strongly against Bitcoin. In 2019, he stated that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are based on thin air and have no real value. His administration pushed for stricter crypto regulations, favoring the US dollar as the only real currency. But now, in 2025, we see a complete reversal. Suddenly, Trump presents himself as crypto-friendly. He speaks publicly about Bitcoin, his team is planning pro-crypto laws, and he reportedly holds Ethereum wallets with millions of dollars. So the big question is, why the sudden change? Has he truly changed his opinion, or is there just a political strategy behind it? To better understand how political figures impact financial markets, let's take a look at the traditional stock market. A great example here is Elon Musk and Tesla. Every time Musk tweeted about Tesla, massive price movements followed. For example, in 2018, he wrote, "Thinking about taking Tesla private, funding secured." This single tweet caused huge stock fluctuation and triggered an investigation by the SEC, so by the Securities and Exchange Commissions. So you see how much big of an impact are just simple words and tweets. To better understand how political figures impact financial markets, or let's recall Joe Biden's crypto tax plans. Just the announcement that crypto profits would be taxed more heavily caused Bitcoin's price to drop by several percentage points. This proves that political statements always impact financial markets, whether it's stocks or cryptocurrencies. But what does this mean specifically for crypto? And Trump's impact on crypto extends far beyond statements. Now, things get really interesting. Trump's impact on crypto extends far beyond just statements. In 2023, the so-called Trump token was launched on the market. The price of this token fluctuated wildly, depending on how Trump presenting himself in the media. So when he had good headlines, or was ahead in the polls, the price rose. When he was under pressure, the price fell. This shows a dangerous development. Cryptocurrencies are becoming politicized objects of speculation. This is very different from Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are influenced by technological developments or the market as the value. Trump tokens are about one person. So is Trump's influence on crypto positive or a dangerous development? Now we come to the crucial question. Is it good or bad that Donald Trump is increasingly involved with cryptocurrencies? On the one hand, his influence can bring more acceptance and greater social recognition to the crypto market. On the other hand, it carries the risk of crypto becoming a political pawn, which is not in line with the original idea of decentralization. Let's take a closer look at the positive and negative aspects. One of the bigger benefits would be that crypto is moving further into the mainstream due to Trump's public support. That's great. In the past, crypto has faced a lot of uncertainty and regulatory restrictions. Governments and central banks often see Bitcoin and Co. as a threat to the financial system. If a former US president, or possibly a future one, openly supports crypto, this could have a positive impact on the market. As an example, Bitcoin ETFs were only improved in the US after years of political struggle. A pro-crypto president can make this process easier for other digital assets. Another big advantage is that institutional investors and hedge funds could gain more confidence in crypto if they see that the US president is publicly committed to it. Until now, many large investors have been cautious because crypto was often seen as unsafe or unregulated. But if an influential figure like Trump, so like the US president, comes out in favor of crypto, it could send a signal to billions of investors. BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, has long been reluctant to invest in Bitcoin, so they didn't want to invest in Bitcoin. It was only when pressure from customers and political developments increased that the Bitcoin ETF came onto the market. So far, the Biden administration has pushed for strict regulation for crypto, including proposals for higher tax on crypto profits and stricter rules for crypto exchanges. Trump could reverse this course. Possible for a crypto-friendly US government would be lower taxation of crypto profits, more clarity on crypto regulations, and support for Bitcoin as a store of value, similar to gold. However, there are still some negative aspects to politicians getting heavily involved into the crypto market. After all, the crypto market was originally created to be independent of governments and banks. But if crypto depends too much on political decisions, it loses precisely this advantage. Bitcoin and Ethereum should not depend on the election of a US president. Investors go only into crypto because Trump supports it. It also means that they could leave the market again as soon as he turns his back or is no longer the US president. The basic idea of crypto was to be an alternative to the traditional financial system, independent of governments, banks, central banks, and politicians. But when market suddenly becomes dependent on political events, it moves away from this original goal. Another problem arises when politicians are directly linked to certain tokens or projects. The best example of this is the Trump token. Its price fluctuated extremely, depending on how Trump was presented in the media. The problem here, such politically influenced cryptocurrencies could be used specifically for manipulation. We have seen it in the past, that politicians often use insider information to profit on the financial markets. Now, if the president actively supports crypto, there's a risk that he and his allies will influence the market to their advantage. Nancy Pelosi, for example, a well-known US politician, was criticized because her husband bought big tech stocks before she passed laws. So, if politicians deal with cryptocurrencies in a similar way, he could lead to the crypto market no longer remaining fair and transparent. The basic idea of crypto was bring power from centralized institutions back to people. If individual politicians now have too much influence over Bitcoin and co., this could mean that original visions of decentralization is weakened. Bitcoin was created to be an alternative currency, not one that depends on a president or a party. If Bitcoin's success suddenly depends on political decisions, elections, or government, this is a step backwards towards to the old financial system. And now for the crucial question, is the involvement of Trump a positive development or a dangerous one? At Euroxen, we stand for a secure, regulated and user-friendly crypto market. Our aim is to offer newcomers and of course also experienced investors a platform on which they can invest independently of political power games. We believe that it is good when politicians engage with crypto and bring it to mainstream, but it is dangerous when individual politicians, for example Trump, manipulate the market or cause extreme volatility through political decisions. Bitcoin and other currencies were created to be independent of central banks and governments. They should stay this way. But what does this mean for you as an investor? Be aware that political statements can strongly influence the market. Don't bet everything on one person or one party. Crypto should be viewed in the long term, so don't go into the Trump token. Use a secure and regulated platform like Euroxen to protect your investments. To summarize, Trump has huge power over the crypto market, and that can be good or bad. It can move the market forward, but it can also make it manipulative. The best strategy for you as an investor is to stay calm and think long-term, hodling. But what do you think? Should politicians influence crypto or should it remain completely independent? Let us know in the comments. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel and check out Euroxen.com. There you can buy cryptocurrencies safely and easily. And as a newcomer, you get up to €100 as a welcome bonus. Thanks for watching. Bye.